Oh yeah. Oh yeah, we live? I think I'm live. It's an air horn. Oh yes. Yeah, we're live. What's up? Happy Friday. What's good? Turn that shit up. But I can mess with it. Yeah. I love that. Yeah, what's up, everybody? What's up, world? What's up, YouTube? What's up, general population of people out there in this wide world that I don't fucking know? What's good? What's happening? Happy Friday. It's a fine Friday. So welcome to it. BS with Be Honest. That's me. When I'm on camera or on the internet or on stage or whatever. Sometimes just when the situation calls for it. I'm Nikki Be Honest. That's what I call myself. I'm out here making YouTube videos in the morning. BS with Be Honest. Bullshitting, as the title implies. Good morning. It is a fine Friday morning, man. It's rainy, shitty. Looks like the roommate just woke up. He's out putzing around. But I've been up since the early fucking morning, man. Out here fucking getting after it, which is a fine way to start a Friday, especially when it's rainy and shitty. And right now in Pennsylvania, it's like cold one day, hot the next, sunny one day, cloudy the next. And the weather fucks with us sometimes. The goal is to not let the weather fuck with you. Just keep doing the thing. As my shirt says, look at this, look at this, look at the official merch. Uh, mm, keep ripping, baby. So yeah, I'm in between workouts right now. Did my morning body weight circuit, hundreds of reps, little bits of cardio, looking at the screens lining the Planet Fitness. It's a good old Planet Fitness, man. It's a goof. There's some, I don't know. I got no real opinion on the Planet Fitness. Gets a bad rap. It's a place to go to do the thing, dude. So like fucking whatever. But the TV screens, man, the TV screens is funny as shit because it's just right there, just bombarding you. They got the morning what's up? Good morning. Fancy Planet Fitness? Nah, mine's not even that fancy. They got a new one out here they just built, which is way better. And allegedly it has free weights and barbells. So you can actually bench and squat. Just better not set off the lunk alarm. But like fuck all that. It gets a bad rap. It's great, man. I started there. That's where I got my feet under me and learned how to do it. So it's got a sentimental value, so to speak. But at this point in my life, man, it's funny because on one screen it's ABC News, the fucking goofy news talk shows, and they're so corny. I said that the other day too. It's just so lame. If my morning talk show, if this is the morning news with Be Honest, if this ever gets to that, if you see me in like some goofy quasi sumo workout suit doing like yo-yo exercises, just fucking put a bullet in my head, please. Don't let me devolve into that. But so it'll be like some goofy feel good stuff on a screen for half a second. Then it's like footage of soldiers getting on an aircraft carrier. And then it's like Call of Duty style footage of missiles being launched. And then it's like the stock market is down, oil prices are up, TSA lines. The Senate finally agreed to pay the TSA agents. And here's some ICE agents. And then on the screen next to it, it's like home hunters. People just fucking with the unlimited budget to buy a house and I don't know, on some beach town in Cali. You know what I mean? Like, and then there's some kind of like cupcake war type show right next to it. Here's fucking Guy Fieri. And then here's like some fruity dude figure skating. It's like, what is going on? This the fucking bombardment, the bombardment effect. I'm just trying to listen to my thrash metal and get some goofy cardio in, man. So that's what I did. I came back and read, finished my book, Beyond Basketball, Mike Krasinski. EMP, what's up, dude? That's a bomb? That's an air horn. Yeah, I finished my book this morning, man, and what kind of notes did I have from it at the very end? Because I was talking about it the other day too. some insightful things. Nothing reinventing the wheel, but the wheel doesn't have to be reinvented. Like I say often, man, when you read, the kind of stuff I read, the personal development or self-help, self-improvement, so on and so forth, most of these cats are all saying the same thing. But they're lessons that I seem to have missed in many ways growing up. I learned some lessons. What's the famous saying? We observe more than we observe. We learn by observation, or, we do what we see, not what we're told. There's all types of cliches and maxims and truisms and all that stuff. That's all very real too. So I find that as I read this stuff, self help, it's just reintroducing these concepts, reintroducing these ideas, and just reaffirming why they're important. And we need it. I think we need it. The mental diet. Otherwise, my mental diet is going to be just a spastic combination of fruity dudes figure skating and bombs dropping on motherfuckers, meant to put me into a fear based state, meant to paralyze me, meant to keep my head down and not try to do nothing. So, what did Mike say in his last couple chapters? I like this one. His chapter was called Talent. Every chapter in this book, beyond basketball, it was like a word, just a word, an idea, a principle. And he would, have his little meditation on it, sharing his thoughts, kind of like what I do here. It's a classic format. It's a great format, as a matter of fact. So, in Talent, here's a quote that I liked, talking about talent by Coach K. It said, "Talent is a blessing, and it is our responsibility to develop it." Yeah, that's a fucking bomb. If we're talented, how far his idea as a coach, it's like you can have the most talented people in the world on the basketball court. But if it's five individual talents doing what five individual talents want to do, not operating as a team, not working in cohesion with each other, no trust, no communication, no, just you see it when you're jamming with people. You could have a bunch of really good players in the same room, but if the drummer just wants to do what the drummer wants to do, and bass players just do, 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 just playing and just playing along, and you got a guitar player who just wants to fucking just do whatever he wants, like you're not doing much. It's just three people in a room, four people. The more variables you throw in there, the messier it gets. You know, there's no point. Don't matter how good you are at the instrument. Don't matter how good you are at the sport. In Coach K's case, if you're not working towards a common goal, if you're not working with each other, then what the fuck are you doing? You know, and I see that when I'm jamming too. It's more important to be able to play with the other people. If you got the talent, but you don't ever put the reps in to harness it, to finesse it, nuance, and just get good, get discipline, 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 discipline. That's what all these guys talk about, man. In my realm of alleged expertise, in the music world, it's like you got to know when to play, when not to play. When are you doing too much? When is it time to step up and rip a lead? Are you going to let the other guy play too? Is there a time for this or a time for that? I see it with drummers a lot. Some drummers love just playing the drums, and I do too. I get it. I get it. But there's a, you know, tremendous value in just knowing when to chill and just hold the pocket, man. Hold the pocket. Not every measure's got to be a drum fill. You don't got to be playing polyrhythms and all this other extra stuff. Sometimes you just got to hold a beat down and let the band play. If you're playing with a group of dudes, is it your show? Is it just about you, or is it about the band? Is it about the performance? Is it about the song? That's a principle you can apply anywhere, dude. You can apply it at the burger joint. If I'm the fry guy, am I calling all the shots? Fuck no. There's too many moving pieces. You can't just have it be that way. And even once you put it into the workplace, now it applies to generally working with people, working in a company. You know, I'm trying to get my shit, my heavy blues metal. I'm trying to get this shit off the ground, and it's a one man show, so it's easy. Should the time come when, say, there's a legitimate organization or whatever, if I got a team, the team has to work as a team, not as a bunch of individuals doing what a bunch of individuals individually want to do. And we all know this. We all know this. That's a simple idea. There's nothing innovating about that, but it is good to hear. It is good to know. It is good to just hear again and be like, you know what? I needed that today. Maybe that's helpful. So maybe that's helpful to you guys out here on YouTube. Yeah, finished that book. Started a new one, which I've read before, but I wanted to reread it. There's a saying that goes, it's not about how many books you read, but it's you can get more out of reading a couple books a bunch of times and becoming a master. You know, what's the other thing? Jack of all trades, master of none, versus a hyper specialized. It's up to whatever the fuck you want to do with it. You know, it's up to whatever. I don't got an opinion on that. I'd rather, my opinion is, I'd rather dabble in a lot of things and be well rounded than be like, well, I can do this, but that's it. Because life requires a lot of different hats to wear at any given moment. But in any event, yeah, I read this before, but I'm starting it again. What we got here? We got this. We got Purpose and Profit by Mr. Dan Coe. 'Cause Dan Coe's an online dude. He's a content creator. He's helped me a lot. So shout out to you, Mr. Dan Coe. Smart guy. Has a lot, he's got his own thing that he does, his own style, but very helpful. I found a lot of value in his free stuff, so I buy his books. I've yet to buy a course or anything like that from him, but I'm on his email list. Very helpful, very useful. The first chapter in this is a collection of essays. The first chapter in this, it's about work. It's about working a job. It's called The Truth About Jobs. There's some truth to a lot of this stuff, man. He's a guy that talks all about personal branding and building your own thing and, you know, creating a meaningful work into your life. Not so much a work life balance, but making your life your work and making work your life, but in a like holistic, well incorporated, healthy kind of way. An optimum way, dare I say. I don't like that fucking word. Optimizing one's life. But there's a lot of truth in a lot of the shit that he says, man. There's a lot of truth in what I was reading this morning. There's something I liked. Where is it? Right here. Let me find it. Let me find it. Here it goes. This is what I'm talking about. This is some money for you on a fine Friday morning. Straight from Mr. Dan Coe. But I'm going to read it in my cadence. I'm not going to rip off his. And I wear sunglasses online. He does not. Although I like the black and white thing he does. He says this: there is this unconscious stigma that it is bad to make money. When you express your desire to earn more, a feeling of guilt springs up as if it is something you aren't supposed to do. The pursuit of money almost always starts as superficial. That doesn't mean it's a bad thing to do. It may be the only way to expose yourself to the depth of life. You can't start digging anywhere else but the surface. Yeah, that's money. That's true. That's true. Guys, I want to get fucking rich. You better take it easy, man. Got to fixate your mind on things you want, though. Which means on some level, you got to fixate your mind on fucking just money, elegance, opulence, that dinero. You know what I mean? Dan goes on to say, like lifting weights, you start for the vanity, stay for the therapy, and cultivate a philosophical sense of mastery behind the pursuit. Yeah, buddy. That's true. It ain't all about the gains, man. It's about the spiritual ascension that comes from just banging out fucking high energy reps at my current state. When it comes to money, you don't start making more because you want to change the world. You start because you want to survive. Once that purpose is actualized, you make more because you want to be accepted and perceived as valuable. Basic stuff. Only once that next level of purpose is actualized is your mind developed enough to care about creativity or contribution to humanity. That is to say, your journey from job to career to calling will not be one without mistakes and ego, and that's okay. That's all right, though, as I like to say. It isn't supposed to be any other way, and you will experience significant emotional backlash as you try to skip steps. At the start, you create to make money. In the end, you make money to create. Yeah, man, money is a tool, as they say, right? And when you ain't got none, it fucking colors the whole shit. When you're broke, it sucks. How many of you guys been broke out there before? Like broke, like stressed the fuck out because all the money you make got to go to someone else. People you don't like, who don't like you, don't know you, don't care about you. They got your hands out. And your hands are in your pocket, and your pockets is fucking empty. And you got 5 miles to walk to go to the fucking courthouse to take a piss in front of some dude who you'll end up doing drugs with 3 years later in a bathroom at the bar. But that's a side note. That shit blows, dude. It's just a bad way to live. Colors the whole fucking existence. This is where I wanted to get to. I just wanted to preface it with that. Dan Coe goes on to say, material is a portal into the immaterial. Most people reject the pursuit of material objects because they can't see beyond the material object. Someone can buy a fancy car on impulse, but they can also grow to become obsessed with the depth of the car itself. They can study its parts, be introduced to new paths, turn it into a career, and use it as a vessel into the unknown. Yeah, man, using things as vessels into the unknown. That's fucking money. That's a good way to think about it all, man. That's a good way to think about it all. And I'm finding as I pursue my objectives right now, which is, a year ago, I was getting this podcast kind of going. I think this time last year, I was doing like ghost host sessions with friends and shit. And I was doing it, but it wasn't quite, it was still very unknown. But it lended itself, it functioned, that whole process functioned as a bridge into the next part of the unknown, which is now a habit, which is now a cool little thing I like to do where I got friends in the chat and I got views coming in on the YouTube shorts and, it made the website make a little more sense. It made the brand make a little more sense. It opened it up. It was all unknown. I knew I made music. I was doing the Nikki B. Hannas thing, nickybhannas.com, by the way, heavy blues metal. And I've always called it, hey, what kind of music do you play? Do you play metal? Nah, it's like blues, but it's like rock, but it's harder than rock. It's kind of like punk. I don't know. I call it heavy blues metal. All right. So I've always been making Nikki B. Hannas music. I came up with the tagline heavy blues metal. I made some stickers and oh, look, that looks fucking sweet. That's like a brand. Okay. Entry level, but that's what it is for all intents and purposes. All right, cool. So I got my music. I got, a rough idea of the brand. I have this inclination to get on camera and talk about things that I think are interesting and fucking hopefully share something good with people. And, it'll diversify this thing that I'm trying to do, even though it's undefined and, cloudy. All right, cool. So now I got music. I got the music component. I got the talk component. The heavy blues metal thing kind of brings it in together. I learned a lot of this from reading people like Danco, from listening to them and, filtering through all the excuse me, filtering through all the noise on the internet, on the news, and in print, so on and so forth. All right. So once I got the talk component down and I'm doing it, it's not just a thing I wanted to do. You get over that 3 episode window, you get over that phase of doing something with no return, becoming demoralized and disincentivized. Why bother? It's like going to the gym. Everything's like fucking going to the gym. Everything in this world is like getting under a fucking squat rack or a bench press, dude. I'm telling you. I believe that. First couple times you don't see any motherfucking gains. It just hurts. It just sucks. You don't want to do it. You feel like an idiot. You're looking at those big dogs in the gym like, fuck, that's never going to be me. You don't want to drink your stupid fucking water. You don't want to eat your stupid shitty dried chicken, your bag of tuna, whatever. You just gotta trust, and then all of a sudden you'll see the beginnings of those newbie gains, and it's like, oh shit, like I'm changing. Hmm. Venturing into the unknown, using something as a mechanism to venture into it, hopefully in a constructive, positive way. Because the opposite is fucking true too. The opposite is also very, very, very true. So that's where I was like this time last year. And now it's a cool thing I do. My friends like it. I enjoy it. It's building up the portfolio through doing it just over and over and over again. I've gotten better. I threw myself out here and I'm like, I feel weird. I feel like an asshole. I feel like a dummy, but like, let's keep doing it. Or else I have to live with the fact that I said I was going to try this thing, tried it for a second, and like a bitch, give up. So now we just do it. That's a pretty useful, a very useful lesson to learn in life. That applies to literally anything. That's the old principle of what we were saying earlier, discipline. Just fucking just do it. Just commit. Don't be non-committal. Don't be in the middle. Don't be half-assed with it. Be full-assed with it. Throw your whole body weight in that motherfucker. Just said you're gonna do it, do it. And if you're gonna quit, do your diligence and make sure you want to quit. Because it sucks having started things and then, oh, I just didn't get around to it. Oh, it just fell by the wayside. That's that Eeyore voice shit. That's a loser fucking mentality that does that. So by whatever mechanism, if you can eliminate that loser mentality, that's a win. That's a big win. That's one you'll carry with you. You will keep that shit around, dude. And if you got talents like Coach K was saying, if there's some kind of talent that you think you have that's just lying dormant, if you don't fucking do your reps and keep chasing it, it just exists as something you can maybe rely on and probably use as some kind of psychological mechanism to hide behind. It's like a shield. Well, I'm really good at playing the guitar, so I don't need to practice. Yeah, but imagine how much sicker you'd be if you did practice. Like that's just fucking life 101, baby. That's just life 101. But I'm hitting the 20-minute mark. Happy Friday. Happy Friday, man. Fuck this shitty weather. Fuck the news. Fuck these idiots. Everyone out there, everything out there that only exists to bring you down. We don't need that bullshit. No, no, no. We don't need that. We need to fucking keep ripping, dude. That's what it is. This shit can be hard. It's all right. Sometimes you suffer. That's all right. You gotta persist. Gotta keep chasing that shit. Keep fucking ripping. Overcome that shit. Eventually you'll fucking win. Small wins beget big wins. And for me, yeah, man, this past year, my life's been great. Cause now I'm obsessed. Now I'm obsessed. Fucking in the gym this morning. Boom, body squats, pull-ups, push-ups, fucking death metal. I was listening to death. Yeah, man, the flattening of emotions. Just boom, rep, 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 killing. So as I am here in between workouts, it's a fine Friday, which means I get to go do the real workout now. Chest and arms on a Friday, baby. We like that. So let's get some. Happy Friday. Thanks for hanging out. BS with Hannas with me. I'm Nikki Hannas here on YouTube at BS with Hannas, going live on YouTube. No script, just maybe a couple notes. Evidently a book. Hey, yo, what up, Maddie? Happy Friday, dog. Happy Friday to all y'all out there, man. So yeah, keep it real. I'll send this out to Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, so on and so forth, all the audio platforms. Thank you to cats out there who are listening on audio. Every now and then I'll check in on my listeners, and there's some of y'all out there. So fucking hey, one love. I appreciate that shit. Yeah, BS with Hannas, YouTube, audio. You want some music? All the links are in the video descriptions. NikkiBHannas.com, NikkiBHannas.bandcamp.com. Nikki B. Hannas on all streaming services. Some heavy blues metal. Some of this shit's kind of straight up metal. Some of it's kind of punk. Some of it's a little rock and roll. Some of it's straight up blues. You know, after it, doing the motherfucking thing. Patreon.com's down there. All the stuff I do, I post up there. So on and so forth. Heavy blues metal merch. You want to get yourself a shirt? You want to keep ripping? Oh, keep fucking ripping, man. Heavy blues metal. Happy Friday. One love. I'm out. Peace. Later.